I don't want to sit on someone's lap for that long.
Listen, nobody does, but every once in a while, you know,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do this. You know, sometimes you gotta sit on his lap and rub the back of his head. Hey, it's Tuesday, the 2nd of April, and the rent is due. But before all that, I want to talk to you people. The check-in is brought to you by Blue Chew. Listen, if you can't get it up like you used to, no worries. Don't get an anxiety attack. You know why? Blue Chew is here, and they got you covered with ED medicine right to your door. No need to drag yourself to the family doctor. Meet digitally with one of their physicians, and your prescription will be at your door in days. Listen, let me tell you something. Blue Chew is a machine of life, and they're spreading love, and it comes right to your door. Nobody knows nothing, and it's tremendous. It works. It's got the same ingredients as what's in Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but way cheaper. You don't have to break the bank to be an animal in bed. Listen, Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it, Jack. Uncle Joey coming at you. Blue Chew's got a special deal for check-in listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you press in promo code Joey at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code Joey to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and safety important information. And thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring the check-in. Listen, Blue Chew works, so get it together. Press in code Joey, and they're going to send you a little package for free. Who's better than Blue Chew? You. Let's get this party started.
Turn up your TVs, run for your lives. It's over. They didn't put you on this planet just to give up. If Uncle Joey can do it, I can rule the world. That's what you got to be thinking.
Welcome back to church!
I got to shut the phone off because all the cocksuckers that didn't call me back today will decide to call me back now. You know, so.
Right as it starts.
Yeah, you know, you don't hear from them for 2 weeks, and today's the day they decide to call. I swear to God, you know this is the way it always is. It used to be that if I had to catch a flight, as soon as I got in the car, I got an audition. I mean, as I was putting my luggage in the car, I could feel my phone jiggling. I get in there, I talk to the Uber driver, what country you're from, did you escape? You know, did you come in through Mexico, whatever the fuck it was.
You get the audition as you're getting in the Uber to the
You get the
flight.
audition as you get into the Uber, not this week. This week I sat here like a fucking bump on a log all day Monday. And as my buddy calls me, he goes, I'm 10 minutes away, the phone starts ringing. I mean, it was like 6 calls in a row. Hey, thinking about you. Couldn't think about me last Friday at 2 o'clock. You got to think about me now at fucking, 6 o'clock at night. You thought about me on a fucking Monday. Ain't I special?
I feel like you'd almost rather they not call than call like right.
I'm on a mission from Satan, and now you want to fucking call. You know, I'm trying to get to the airport. I'm going to make sure my sleep apnea mask. I got my reefer. I got rolling papers. I got lighters. I got itch cream. You know, there's a lot to consider. And once you get in the car, you're like, fuck, I forgot my fucking charger.
How pissed would you be if you forgot weed? Did you ever forget? Like, I feel like you never forgot weed.
One time I did a Lee in Boston.
What does that mean?
This had to be 2006. I'm in Boston with Joe, Eddie, Ari, Duncan. And I had this weed that I unleashed on them in LA, and they were calling it Dum Dum weed. It was straight gangster shit. You just had the sudden urge to order 18 pizzas and take a nap. This shit was strong. And it was green, and it was fucking beautiful. Me being the jerk off and show off at that time, we get to Boston, and we're waiting for the rental car. I can't wait. I got to roll a joint. I roll a joint. I get in the fucking car. I get to the hotel room. I left the weed sitting out on the ledge.
But at the rental car place?
Right at Avis. So if anybody came, they found a bag of fucking goodies. Now I had to smoke shit from fucking some dishwasher in the back that smelled like soaps and fucking God knows what else.
I'm surprised you didn't go back to Avis.
Listen, you got to be an idiot. What are you going to do? Somebody's going to turn it in and I get a reward. So what's something? Listen, any fucking, I'm not even going to say nothing because you'll say anybody who picked that. Anyway, it was gone, all right? If that thing wasn't gone 10 minutes later, then we got no real fucking thing going on in this world.
Right. They would find that.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of good weed. Jake came to one of my shows and brought some weed from Washington.
Okay.
It was really good. It was. I think they grew it outside. It was some of the best smelling weed I've had in a while. It was great.
It's that Chinese weed. I'm telling you, you're gonna lose an eyeball. Don't fuck with that shit. It's out there, but you gotta ask the guy at the counter, is this Chinese weed? Watch him fucking lose his mind.
I would love to ask him that. Is China growing weed?
Like Szechuan pork. You're having a good time,
smoking,
and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you got the Havana syndrome. You know what I'm saying? People are shooting you in the ears, your whole body shakes. So before we go any further, how was your little comedy trip to Nashville and Vegas?
Dude, this was like probably top 3 of like my back to back. It was like 11 days of just straight comedy. I did 17 shows from Wednesday to
Sunday,
the following Sunday. So it was like 10 or 11 days. I did 17 shows. I did open mics. And what I was like most proud of is I dealt with a heckler and I dealt with it okay. There was room for improvement, but I was able to adjust and not remake my set, but I basically cut out and redid half of my set because of like figuring out what they might want in that kind of a room. And I had some like really awesome sets towards the end of the week. It was awesome. It was
did you do laundry, or did your asshole beg your undies to fucking get me out of this predicament? Your asshole's probably like, I don't need a COVID mask that smells like that.
No, my asshole, dude, I ate some. The guy was opening. Oh no, I didn't get to eat. They didn't have, which is probably good. I'd probably be shitting blood right now, as you say. But I didn't have like the employee lunch. They didn't have that, so
they didn't give you a card for any meals for free.
No.
Vegas is getting cold-blooded, dog.
Oh, but it was fun. It was cool. Nick Guerra was the guy I was headlining for, which
great
is
kid.
a
great kid, having great success in LA, good looking. I don't know what the fuck these agents are waiting for. Nick Guerra could have been a fucking go-go dancer on Telemundo or, an NBC, but, the guy's out there, but he'll find his niche. Like most of those guys, they work hard.
Yeah.
Nick, there's no fucking pushover. He works really hard, man. I knew Nick since Texas.
Yeah. And he came up in Dallas. So it was just cool to get to talk to him all week and hear his point of view as like a headliner. And like, we just talk comedy, and he liked to go eat. So he took me to a bunch of his favorite spots around Vegas.
What non-comics will never understand is that I could talk to you for 10 hours about comedy. We could and we've done it. We've done it 4 hours after the podcast ended, smoking dope, snorting ketamine, It's really insane how when you get 2-3 comics together. Listen, for me, everybody always spoke about the hang in the green room and shit. I always like the pink dot sandwich.
Right.
We spoke about it this weekend when I went down to Austin. Eleanor was there, Steve Simone was there, and Joe was there. And we were talking about the old school store. When about 1:15, our job was to walk the pink dot before it closed at 2.
Got it.
And we'd each get a turkey sandwich or a meatball hero. And that chit chat, I'll never ever forget. And I bet that's the way you feel right now. Like those little chit chats till 2 a.m. about this comedy club owner, this guy, how'd you send this guy a tape? This is the real learning experience. This is when you really bump up in when you're around. You'll see the difference of open micers feeling bad and, you know, being angry at people for being a little better than them or for getting a gig as a co-MC. And then fucking, you know, you go to another place where it's a different attitude now. It's really, it's the things that most people won't understand. You know, if I talk to Led Zeppelin, they would go, listen, the parties were great, the orgies were great, but the true hang was after we got off stage when we told people for 30 minutes we didn't want to be bothered.
Right, where they're just going over there. I would imagine it's the same for all of them. And it was cool at the LA Comedy Club because there was a 6 o'clock show, 8 o'clock show, and 10 o'clock show. So I met all of the cool comics on the 6 o'clock. Even one of the guys who is on the 6 o'clock show was doing open mics with me at the Fourth Wall. And he has a 7-day-a-week gig at the Strat opening the 6 o'clock show. Brett Ernst and Butch Bradley were doing the 10 o'clock shows at like the late ones. And I got to like, it was the hang. It was like getting to like hear from their point of view, how they viewed comedy. And then I watched not every minute of it, but I watched all of those guys do their shows and how they approach things. And like Brett I noticed like he sat down a lot of his sets. So I would watch that and how he would like, when he would stand up, like what if he was trying to like get some emotion out of people or something.
Brett's a pro.
Brett's great. Yeah. Brett was so funny.
You know, it's these guys now finding their groove. And I'm sitting back here loving it. Because I remember where these guys were up at 1:15 in the morning. And we would talk in the back and they didn't know when Mitzi was going to see him again. And it's such a fucking in the moment struggle. You're in the moment and you go minute to minute. You don't know how you're going to feel. You know, that's why I never really liked talking shit around comedians like, you know, I got a spot at the Improv at 10:40. Yeah, you're just making other guys feel bad.
Right.
You know, this is supposed to be a community. And I don't know, there's something like improving. Listen, this goes back to the old adage, Lee. And I'm really proud of you for this. I'm really proud of Eric. It takes a lot of pride to not get a job as a doorman, security guard. You know, when I got into comedy, I knew it was like anything else. I got a job. I took the comedy class like in December. And from January to May, I shut my mouth, Lee. And I carried buckets of ice. And I fucking put on stupid music and had to move the lights around. And I had to load the beer case. But the whole time I had an ear open. You know, and the most important thing was, since I did the music for the comics, it was a C room.
Okay.
Right. You know, since I did the music for them and the lights and the explosives, I got to talk to them. And then when I got the broker, I finally got on stage in July and I got the broker like in December. And when I got the broker, if the comic was really cool, there was a gap in their schedule. So Tuesday night you did the broker, then Wednesday you were off. That sucks when you're on the road.
Because you have to pay for a hotel?
You pay for the hotel. So if the headliner was cool, I'd invite him over, sleep over. And then in the morning, we'd talk comedy, or at night, we'd talk comedy. And they would give me a list of bookers, even though I wasn't ready. And I knew it. They would give me a bunch of shit to prepare me. And I looked at names that were there that are probably still there today, you know, then today. So it's such a fucking journey.
And it's cool. Like the way I was thinking about it with Nick was like, it's almost like you're on like let's say you're on like the Oregon Trail or something. You meet someone who is already somewhere like way down the road and they're like, look out, there's snakes here. And like getting to talk to Brett and Ernst and Brett and Nick and all those people, they would talk about like, here's what you look for when you're trying to sign with a manager. This is what the manager's supposed to do from his point of view. Here's what you're supposed to do when you're reaching out. And like, they were just giving me like, at least what worked for them. And it might not work for me, but like just their point of view of things.
Listen, what works for you ain't going to work for them. And what works for them isn't going to work for you. But there's something in between.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you seem to attack.
And
there's something in between that your mind and his mind could put something together a little bit better than your idea, because he's been at it. And, again, our egos are like, no, I have a great idea. Listen, what's the difference between a 5-year comic and a 15-year comic? If I go to a 5-year comic and go, listen, I want to buy the story of your life, but I'm not going to use you as a lead. Okay? He'll throw a fit. Where a 15-year comic will go, I don't care who the fuck you use as a lead. Just throw me a check. Use me every week. Keep me off the road for 10 episodes, and I'm in. It's really weird what we'll do 5 years in, 10 years in, 15 years in, and 20 years in.
It sounds like it's an ego thing.
Always. Once you let ego get in the way of comedy, you're done. You lost that week. Once you're featuring and you're like, people told me I'm better than the headliner. Meanwhile, he's up there getting standing ovations.
Right.
And you're in the back because 8 people told you you're better than the fucking headliner. So you're sitting back there like, yeah, let me see how I can fucking corner this guy. You go up there one night and you plan everything, lighting your toes on fire, giving you A material. You're going to steal jokes, the whole fucking thing. And you go up there and you think you buried him. And this guy comes out with another set and a different wig and a different fucking pair of sandals or whatever the fuck he's doing. And it's always very interesting. I fucking hate when shit got. And listen, I'm smart enough to know even then, like I knew a comic that came to me one day and he's like, fuck Ralphie, man. And I'm looking at him like, what? And he's like, yeah, when I work with him, people tell me I'm funnier than he is, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where that motherfucker is today.
And like because I'm not like above admitting there are times I've done shows where I'm like, oh, I'm better than this guy. But then like, especially with headliners who are like really seasoned, I'm like, oh, this is his 6th hour that he's written. The jokes that I'm doing are all my jokes that I've written for my entire career. So
listen, the first special is always easy. It's like the first album. It's dynamite. You've had your whole career to work on it.
Right.
Second one is a motherfucker. I went like 0-4. I got 4 bad fucking specials and CDs. But listen, that's the fucking how you learn. You don't learn by doing everything great. You can't be great at everything. And
right.
once you know your strengths and your weaknesses, you stay away from your weaknesses, but you work on them. But you're not going to do a guy come and tape you on your weaknesses.
No. And it's like, have you improved your weaknesses, do you think? Like, do you think it seems like that's something you would do is like try to purposely go after them.
First off, how do you improve your weaknesses if you're not honest with yourself? If you don't go home and go, that set sucked, dick. If you're going to if I bump into you 6 days, 6 nights in a row in a pizza parlor at 2 a.m, and you tell me how you killed, we have a problem. I've had good weeks, but there's sets that I went to Austin last week. I did 6 sets. I was probably 3-3. Were the other 3 that bad? 2 of them were. But listen, I was just trying new shit. I didn't give a fuck. I had a purpose to go up there. I had a purpose, to go up there. I wanted them to go one way so I could take them the other and see what else was there, I planned that going up there. I don't give a fuck. At any level, I never gave a fuck. I always had a mission to go up there, do a good job, try some new material as a feature act, and hang out by the door and get a gram of coke. I always had my priorities were in the right fucking place. There was never, and when I got coked up, if I was by myself, what do you think, I'd be watching porn? I don't watch porn. I would work on my comedy all coked up. I'd wake up the next morning, the material was worse than what I had written. But, dog, this is what it is. It's a journey. It's not where you start. It's where the fuck you finish and how you finish.
Do you think on that, like, were your sets better towards the end of the week than they were at the beginning, or was it like a mismatch?
It was kind of hit and miss, and I'll tell you why, because this is why I checked on you Thursday night. Because by Thursday night, after you've worked 2 weeks, and you've gotten there on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
you want to stab yourself in the eye with a pencil. You can't write. You can't write fast enough. You're sick of saying this material. You just said it in Nashville.
Right.
And now you're doing another 8 days of it, which Vegas is, 14 shows. If it's old Vegas, 2 shows a night, Sunday through. It's a great way to improve.
Yeah.
What a great way to improve. But I don't give a fuck how much you love comedy. By Friday morning, when you get on the elevator, and you're like, what the fuck? You got to walk a mile to get a cup of coffee, and then ding, 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 ding. And who's not in there still drunk from the night before?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I went to your show last night. You sucked. And you're like, oh, okay. That's what I need.
People say that to you?
Dog, they say, they're fucking inebriated at 8 a.m. You're walking around trying to find a pool or another gram of blow or a victim, and they'll just come, man, I was at your show last night. You were funny. And you're like, stop it. Go lose. What are you about? Well, I'm not your lucky fucking token.
I was almost late to my flight today because for some reason, I talk about being short. For some reason, women love whenever they see me, they stand right, like they have to measure themselves again. So this woman was hammered at 3 a.m, still up, and like wouldn't let me leave.
Where?
In Vegas this morning.
At the club or at the casino?
Casino, yeah. At the casino.
Oh, yeah. You're lucky you didn't get kidnapped at 3 a.m, my friend. I woke up one night to catch one of those Southwest flights.
Yeah.
It was one of those Rogan weekends. I don't know where they put us up. It was somewhere we had been put up for years, and it was fantastic. And this one night I went down there at 5 a.m. I'm like, ooh, Lordy. You had some fucking kidnappers. You had everything down there. Hookers, pimps, transgender fucking hookers.
Jesus. Yeah, they were there this weekend.
They were out. And I'm like, man, this lobby is usually pretty fucking cool.
But it was, that was it was interesting to be in Vegas for that long because I saw like this one dude basically stole a joint from me. He was like a homeless dude just screaming, and he's like, "Hey man, I was at county today," and he showed me he had marker on his hand. I don't know if they like write on you when you're at county, and I just had a joint in my hand, and I just gave it, and that was the only time I was scared, but there was a bunch of weird shit that happened.
After COVID, it seems like everything went down a level.
Uh-huh.
Like if you stayed in a hotel where there was no commotions in Vegas off the strip, now you're going to hear, fuck you, give me back my money, I'll stab you, whatever. I mean, now it's crazy how much everything has changed in 4 years and what you have to see now. Like a friend of mine went to Seattle, one of my neighbors, and he came back. He goes, that was terrible. They tell you not to fucking go downtown.
Jesus. You can't because of all the people down there now. You can't. They say not to go at all.
Go to Fisherman's Market, Fisherman's whatever it is.
Wharf, yeah.
No, Wharf is in San Francisco.
Oh, sorry. I'm
sorry. Almost made that mistake myself.
But it was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just I wouldn't go to Portland now if I'm a comic down there. There's a different way of thinking. Or Seattle. I'm not allowed in Seattle. But there's a lot of fucking places that you're like, if I go there, do I need fucking 10 people as security? I don't ever want to get security.
No.
No, that's embarrassing for a guy like me. To walk in there with 3 gorillas and make believe I'm something I'm not. Stop.
You wouldn't. What about just getting like some jiu-jitsu guys who are like normal size?
When you would bring people like that, people look at you a certain way. And then, I don't know, there's always somebody who's going to challenge you. There's always a motherfucker that when they got 3 beers in them, they're going to go, I'm going to go talk to fucking Lee. I want to talk to him. And then you bounce, then your security, listen, Lee's not talking to people right now. He's in the back with one of his freaks. We don't care, man. We paid $300 for his ticket and we want to fucking go right now. And next thing you know, you have an escalation. Have I seen it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, I've seen it. In Las Vegas, I've seen it in LA, and it's not good. And whether you have security or not, man, it's just, I'd rather not have security and walk in there like a human being.
Right.
And it puts people off just seeing you being normal.
What do you mean it puts them off?
They look at you and go, dog, this guy, I thought he'd walk in here with 3 gorillas and a guy throwing nunchucks in the air. He walked in here with his fucking daughter and his wife.
Right.
You know, that gives you a different feel.
Do you think, like, because I had something happen today at the airport that I kind of got upset at. I got there, dude. It was 3:30 in the morning, and there was a 20-minute wait just to like check into the kiosks, and then there was, like, TSA had a super long line, and I yelled at someone today. You know me, I don't yell at anybody, and I didn't really yell, but this dude was cutting the line at TSA. Like we were all going around the lines like you're supposed to, and he was too good for that and took the whatever it's called up, like the line, and just kind of cut in front of us. Says, hey man, there's a line here.
Hey, listen, I want to welcome this product to the show because I tell you what, it works and they sent it to the right person. What I want to talk to you about is Mando. Let's talk here for a second. When you take a shower, you want to smell good for as long as possible, right? But sometimes it don't work that way. If you're me, your feet start kicking, my right fungi toenail starts to boot, you know, your muffler, you're sweating, you're a little chubby, sweat comes out of different places. But that all changed with Mando whole body deodorant. Make the most out of every shower. Listen, in a clinical study, men who showered with soap and used Mando had an odor score of 0 out of 10 after 12 hours. Listen, I usually smell like a bear after 10 minutes. Clinically proven to control your nasty odor for 72 hours. And when I say nasty, I'm thinking about myself. I don't know what you're doing at your house behind closed doors. Mando works on your pits, your privates, that foot, your diabetic foot, listen, whatever thing you got odor on. I know people who their shoulder smells. For example, Lee used to have the hummus neck. You know, it happens. Me, I love this thing. My wife turned me on to it, and then they called, and now we're working tip-top magoo. Before I go to jiu-jitsu, it keeps you dry. Listen, it's baking soda-free, paraben-free, and pH balance for safe use below the belt. Smell better with Mando. Here we go. Mando has a starter pack that's perfect for new customers. You ready for this? It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Listen, I know you're sick of smelling yourself and going, woof. What parrot landed on me? As a special offer for check-in listeners, new customers, get $5 off a Mando starter pack with code Joey, Joey, at shopmando.com. That's over 40% off your starter pack when you visit shopmando.com and press in code Joey. Listen, Labor Day will be here in no time. You got to be out there in the heat, hanging out with family members, and there's always going to be somebody kicking. Even if it's not for you because you're embarrassed, give it to that uncle you got. Put it in his little shaving. Maybe he'll brush his teeth with it. Whatever. Who knows? Get some Mando in your life. Get the starter pack. New customers, get $5 off the starter pack with code Joey. Shopmando.com. I want to welcome them to the show. And you guys, go to shopmando.com and welcome them also. And then press in code Joey so we all win. All right? And now back to the show. So you yelled at some dude?
So yeah, I was like, hey man, there's a line. And he didn't like it. He's like, what's the big deal? Like we were going back and forth, and like some of his family was there, and they were like, oh, he's my husband. And it was, and I normally don't say anything. Like I take shit from people. I've had someone steal a spot
for me.
The
regular line today?
I had to. There's no pre-check.
What about clear?
That they didn't have shit. That they, I don't know if it was because it was Southwest.
First class?
No, they didn't have shit. And I was on Southwest. There's no first class.
Right now, you go through first class, and when they stop you, you're not first class. What, you're stopping a Jewish man? Are you anti-Palestinian? You know, people did it for 30 years. It's time for the Jews to do it. Everybody else, you know.
Do you ever do you worry about getting into fights in public places or like?
No, my mind is on just, you talk to, listen, there's some people who are going to say shit. You're going to be the best person you could be. You're going to stop. You're going to shake their hand. And I'm going to be honest with you. In 20-something, 30 years of flying, let's go 25 as a comic flying, I got into one beef in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Vegas is a little weird. People lose money. They're at the fucking airport. They got to go home and tell their wife now that the conference, they bumped into a fucking stranger and he took his wallet. I know what a person's got to tell their wife. It was a Sunday morning. It was fucking bright and early. I'm high. I'm not even thinking about trouble. And it was like 4 people on the line. There was no reason to act like a jerk off.
Right.
And I put my stuff, and I have the sleep apnea machine. I was taking it out. I'm always quick. I do this every fucking week, twice a week. So I'm quick. As the line was moving, some guy came, pushed my stuff back, and put his stuff in. And looked straight ahead, like at the guard. And I go, excuse me? And the guard was like, what was that about? He goes, I got no time for wait for these sleep apnea people. And the guy goes, no, he was right there. You just cut him off. And I didn't say nothing. And he goes, if you expect me to apologize, don't. And I go, go fuck yourself. And he that was the end of it. And he just froze. It was 5 a.m. Nobody is ever going to tell you to go fuck yourself that early. And when you hear it, it kind of fucks up. You're at the airport. And that was it. And I shut up for fucking the first 5 minutes. And finally, as I went through, he was dying to say something.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. The fuck is wrong with you? It's 5:15 in the morning, and you already want to be a fucking hard-on? Like, really? And you sit there and I remember one time I went to Boston.
Okay.
And I just had knee surgery. It had to be 2013, 2012. And we got to go do radio. And we get to this radio station, and the security guard's like, the power's off. The power went off overnight. Remember that? With the escalator?
Vaguely. I remember because that was right when I met you. Yeah.
I was a gentleman. I go, listen, guys, not for nothing. I just had surgery 2 weeks ago. I can't go up no fucking stairs. And the guy's like, well, you have a choice. And I was like, pardon my French, brother? I'll fucking leave right now. I'm not going up that. And he's like, well, we're not driving you back. Watch this. I went right to the receptionist. I go, get me a cab. And he kept yelling at me, you're not leaving. You're not. Watch me. I got in the cab and went home. As soon as I got to the hotel, my agent called. What happened? I told him, you and I both know I had surgery. I get here and the fucking escalator. I mean, this guy wanted to fist fight me. And
that's wild.
I'm here to pick up an envelope. I'm not looking to make war with nobody. This is a business. I'm not looking here to make fucking war with nobody. So that's why I kind of didn't want to fly during COVID. All this shit, remember for like 3 years, people getting in fist fights, people yelling on planes. The last thing you need is to be sitting there, some guy hits you with water, and you have to throw a punch at him. Now somebody's got a camera, and now it's a fucking nightmare because you tried to defend yourself, but in today's America, you're not allowed to do that.
No.
Only Mike Tyson. Only Mike Tyson that time on the flight. And that guy's suing him now. And that guy's trying to sue him now.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope they don't let him win because that was, if you don't know that story, it was like a guy was like, a kid was like drunk and like kind of like taunting Mike Tyson. And Mike allegedly there were some things thrown and you just saw the kid with like a fucked up face. It was awesome. I was so happy for Mike. That was like, because that kid was just being a dick.
It never ends, and you just have so much patience with people. And, thank God my people are an alcohol base.
No.
People that come to the show, because I would shoot myself. A lot of them just come up and give you that fucking glazed look, like, hey, man. And you're like, okay, here we go. Fucking Jerry Garcia and his assistant. And it's still, I got a laugh out of it,
Right.
The drunk shit when they grab you
Mm-hmm.
and they breathe that firewater breath in your face, and they say shit about their wives. Come on, get next to Joey. Joey, grab a tit. Come on, man. They say all that craziness, look at her ass. And you're like, and the girl is fucking embarrassed as fuck. She's like, I just wanted a date with you. I don't need somebody pointing out my tits. And you're like, I'm sorry. You have to apologize. That's the shit that drives me crazy. Listen, I live out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've lived out in the open since I moved here. I mean, we lived out in the open in LA. We were at weed stores and shit every day, restaurants, crowd therapy. It's really weird. About a year after I moved here, somebody pulled me aside one day and they're like, you're blowing people's mind.
Really?
And I'm like,
because you were there?
No. They're like, you're blowing people's mind. And I go, what did I do now? And they're like, no, you didn't do nothing. It's what you don't do. Remember I told you the neighbor used to tell me, you don't act like a celebrity?
Yeah.
Well, tell her, I'm not a fucking celebrity. Well, that's what people expect of you. To walk in, like a girl said to me, have you been to this restaurant? And I go, no. And she goes, it's a 3-week whatever, but if you call them, they will definitely give you a knife with your name on it and a fork. And I'm go, why would I do that? She goes, you wouldn't do that? I go, not in a million fucking years. Am I announcing that I'm going over? I'll put under my wife's name. And when I get there, you throw them the fuck off, or whoever I'm going with's name. I don't believe in that. I don't believe into coming into a softball game with a convertible down, listening to rap music, all that shit. I move in silence. I was a burglar. You have to look at the roots of somebody.
It would be so weird to see you coming in with like a crazy hat on, or like the way that
I go to fucking restaurants with sweatpants and a hooded sweatshirt on, and I love the reaction of people. People's reaction. It's like last week in Austin on Wednesday night. I go, I'm going to fuck with these knuckleheads. I've been doing this since 1980. I've been doing this. I put my sweatshirt on backwards. That gets under people's fucking skin. They all come up to you, excuse me, Mr. Diaz, do you know your shirt's on backwards?
What are you talking? Wait, it's not a hoodie, right? It's just a regular sweatshirt?
I have a certain sweatshirt that I love. I've had it since I was 450. It's already stretched. I look like a 3-pound bologna in a half-pound bag when I first wore it. And over the years, it just stuck around. It's a sweatshirt that's great quality.
Okay.
It's soft now. So now I lost weight again. So now it's going down. So I said, you know what? I don't know what the temperature is in fucking Austin. It's a light sweatshirt. I go, let me wear it. Let me bring it.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a bunch of shirts. I didn't know what the temperature was. And Wednesday night, I go, let me wear this blue fucking sweatshirt backwards. If I didn't have 30 people come up to me, I was downstairs talking to a friend of mine. A lady came over. She goes, I was dying to tell you when you were on stage. I didn't know if you knew. I go, this was planned. That's why you were dying to tell me.
Jesus Christ.
It tortures people. People come up to you, excuse me, Joey, your shirt's on backwards. Did you know that? And I can't tell you who. Everybody.
How did you figure this out? Like, how often do you wear your sweatshirt on backwards?
In 1980, I don't fucking know. I had a fucking shirt that I liked, and one night I wore it out backwards. Honestly, by mistake, Lee.
Right.
But the reaction I got was so fucking overwhelming. I had to stick with it. I never felt so bad for people. It's like when I wear pants that I purposely show my ass crack. I'm just setting you up, you fucking dummy. You think anybody would bend over like you with these pants? I know how to do it to fucking just, did you get a hand with that crack? And you're like, how old are we now? Get the propeller with the fucking hat. After a while as a comedian, you learn how to listen. For me as a comic, it's not the fucking laughter. It never has been.
What?
It never has been.
So what is it?
It's the look on their face when I open up my mouth. That makes me laugh. So now I can make you laugh.
What look do you like?
I like the look when I first of all, I love being wrong, but at the same time, I love being right. So if you're gonna pick a woman to pick on or whatever, just say something to a woman. You look beautiful tonight. I'm looking for her reaction. If she gets wiggles her tits, she's an animal. If she sits there and says thank you, she's all right. But she could be an undercover cocksucker. So you have to push the envelope a little bit just to see if you get a thrill out of her. And then if I hit her with a joke, if I hit the audience with a joke, I'm really focused on her. I'm watching her, even though you guys are seeing me, not watching her at all. And I'm waiting to throw an off-color joke to see her reaction. If her jaw drops, the room is done.
Really?
Yeah, because I'll do a minute on everybody and then I'll bump into her mysteriously, but I already got the 10 minutes going already. I picked on the audience because I'm setting up my arsenal. I'm putting the 45 bullets in. I'm putting the 380s in. I'm like Rambo in the last Rambo. He's putting lights all over the bombs. You're just buying time because the 8 minutes you're going to dig into her are going to be tremendous. You're going to keep riding that joke out. You know, she had one leg. I was eating a pussy, and everything is a tag. And now you get them going one way, and now and she's down there like this. That's
How do you pick her out? Like, do you have like a joke you do at the beginning, or do you do stuff at the beginning to like see who you're going to focus on?
Some guy like you comes in and says, Joey, you're up in 3 minutes.
Okay.
You just got the light and I'm going to bring you right up. I'll let you enter the room, and right when you hit the door, I'm behind you by like 30 seconds. And I'm watching. And as I get close to that curtain, I give it a little look. You never want to step out there. Don't step there. But you want to find an angle that you could see. And you're going to nail it. There's 250 people, 300 people. You can nail 5 people. But you got to nail them in the front. Nobody's going to see that chubby guy in the back or the chick with the eye patch on the other side. You got to pick them up front.
Okay.
Like, have you ever gone to this is why I hate comedy judges. And when I say comedy judges, not comedy contest judges. I hate when somebody goes to see Lee and Lee says a joke that's a little on the dark side and he gets tagged a racist. He gets, and these people have never done comedy before. And all of a sudden you got a bad rap because a comedy judge all of a sudden, I don't even know where I was going with this. Those edibles are kicking in, but fuck it, work it.
Because we were talking about you, there's a woman in the crowd when you.
Right. So you learn. Listen, there's some people that go to a comedy club to tell their wife how much the comics suck. There's a lot of guys who go to a comedy show so their wives tell them how much this guy's a fucking maniacal psychopath, drug addict, And then there's people that go in there with an open mind. There's always people who are going to go to a show and hate, And you spot those people. They just don't want to be there. Go home, close your eyes, and think about a time when your mom took you to the synagogue with a bunch of smelly fucking guys with hats on and beards. And what was your thing? You didn't want to fucking be there. Somebody drank. The psychology of the comic has to think like that some way, even though I don't want you to think like that. I don't ever want you to even think about your set. I don't want you to predetermine your set. I don't want you to look in there and go, Joey, they're all fat people. Joey, they're all old people. Joey, they're all black people and they hate me. I have a black joke. So comedy judges go to a show. All I know is one thing. Lee, and I tell you this with my heart, you were there for 8 of those years. There's some shit that comes out of my mouth, and especially on stage. And for me, I perfected it because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And at the Comedy Store, I worked a lot of late nights behind Paul Mooney. And there's 8 people in the room. 5 of them are black. 3 of them are fucking white, and they're scared that the black people are going to overtake them in the room. So they've already been manhandled by Paul Mooney. Now I got to go in there. You know what, man? I'm not getting any play from the 3 white guys. So I got to go into the black guy. I've already done material. Paul Mooney's done it. It's 1:15 in the morning. You got to assume whatever stupid joke you wrote last night, somebody did it already. They've seen the same Discovery Channel about the fucking oceans bodying them out. Everybody sees the smuggler get caught from Bolivia. I didn't know it was medicine. Whatever the fuck.
So you go to a different style.
So now you got to dig deep. 5 black guys walk into the room. What are you going to sing? Rock music? No, you got to sing Earth, Wind, and Fire. And you better fucking sing it on key, because Maurice White was a bad motherfucker. But what I'm saying to you is you're going to go, what's going on, dog? You're not going to call him a brother, because now they know you're faking the funk.
Right.
Dog, what's up? Boom. And he starts talking to you. Then he'll say something to you, and you're like, dog, what's up with that fucking shirt? What happened? And if you say something black or something hacky, don't. But if you refer to Marvin Gaye or something that people in the room haven't heard of, just because they haven't heard it, he knows. And right there, when you say that sentence, that this idiot over here thinks it's racist, this black guy jumps up in the air and high fives his friends and go, that's my dog and shit. This guy leaves and says, Joey said something racial.
Right.
It's how you perceive it. It's fucking crazy, man. The education is nonstop. And now you see the backlash of people and saying, and guess what? People want to hear some crazy shit. People are sick and tired. People want to hear crazy shit from the heart. Let me tell you something. I cracked a joke last week that I never thought I was going to crack. And it went so smooth one time. Then it died 2 other times.
Were you trying to recreate what you did the first time? Why do you think it bombed or didn't do well?
I didn't say it right. The first time I said I was more excited about the premise. It was the joke about Orlando with the gay ghost after the shooting at Pulse.
Right.
You go to Orlando, you could go to Disneyland, the gay ghost is tapping on the shoulder. Last time I went out in Orlando, somebody shot me, shit like that. The first time I mixed it with something else that made it very funny. I don't want to give the thing out.
Right, no.
What I wanted to talk about tonight was what I just did.
Okay.
I'm no Jerry Lewis. I'm no Dean Martin. I'm no fucking Bill Burr. I'm no Chappelle. And I know this going in. I never try to do anything. But I want to talk to people about how easy it is, because this is what people don't fucking understand. That whatever they want in life, it's right in front of you. Your fingertips, at the end of your fingertips, whatever you want in your life. If you want a yacht to bring freaks out like Big Diddy and Biggie and Epstein, and it's not going to work out for you. You saw where that got you. Go for something positive. You want an electrical company. You want a limousine company. And then write a note. How are you going to do it? But everything is fucking possible. What are we talking about?
What you did this week.
Okay, so we came on here in January. I was a little scared, but I knew I had no other alternative. I knew where my life was going. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not that type of person. I got to do something. And we decided on doing stand-up as a hobby, twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal, no weekends. I'm not going to Madison Square Garden to do that guest set to show people. None of that shit. We're going back to bed basics. Couple restaurants, a strip club, and Uncle Vinny's, just to get my feet fucking wet, and I pretty much hit the goal every week except one. I only got on stage once one week. And was I upset? Sure I was. I was more upset for you guys at home, because I told you I was doing 2 sets a week. And then I decided, let's go test the whatever sets. It was past 10 at that point, way past. Why count them? I already hit 10. Now it's time to move on. Let's see where this takes us. We agreed on 10. There was nothing to discuss. There was nothing to fucking discuss. And then this opportunity came. I knew I wanted to go down there. We had discussed me going down there a few times and just doing 15. And I'm going to be as honest as I can with you, brother to brother. I'd rather get on a plane to Austin than drive an hour 15 somewhere. even though the flight down there is pure hell. It's 4 hours. They throw a curveball at you. You're like getting ready to go. You're scratching your nuts. You're putting fucking, Malukia juice on your neck. And all of a sudden it's like, we're landing in an hour and 35 minutes. What? And that hour is like fucking going to the chair.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it was. But I want to get back to what you're talking about, because do you think it was like the level of, not that there's not good comedy where you were going, but like that's like the hottest club in the world right now. So like, because you were saying like you would rather fly to Austin than drive an hour and 15. I said, like, what do you think it was? Because you've been doing comedy at some good places, but the Mothership is probably the hottest club in the world right now.
All right. In 2 sentences for you. You and I both know that we spoke one night, and I said to you, I had an opportunity to go somewhere and get on stage. In the last 4 months, Bert's been here, Tom's been here, I could have just gone down there.
Right.
10 minutes in front of 2,300 people. That's not what I was trying to do, Lee. For the first 3 months, I was trying to fall in love with this again. And I did. I fell in love with connected dots. I've always loved connected dots. Throwing something out, putting it in your notebook, and 2 weeks later, that's a gem you were looking for because you connected it with this. There's no better feeling than that. Maybe somebody fucking, pouring fucking hot wax on your nutsack. I don't know. I've never been there, but I enjoyed it again. And I could do 15 minutes. Listen, I've been doing comedy for 30 years. Why am I being such a fucking weasel? I could do 15 minutes in my sleep.
Right.
But I wouldn't allow myself. I would start with 6, 7, 8. I just wanted to fall in love with this beautiful fucking art again. I didn't just want to go into the sunset. For me, it was never about playing the Garden. It was never about being on Letterman or the Tonight Show. I knew where I was going to end up. Excuse me. I didn't know I'd end up here. I didn't know that, I would do Ari's fucking storytelling show and people coming up to me crying and shit. I didn't know these things. You always think you're a comic and you end up a storyteller. People who are storytellers, you never know where this journey is going to take you. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about?
About why you like going to Austin.
So, number one, listen. I had one of the biggest fucking opportunities in the world. I got a chance to walk into the Comedy Store in my 7th year doing comedy and develop and develop and develop. And there was a lot of fucking eating shit and a lot of nonsense. And would I do it again? Abso-fucking-lutely. But one thing I learned at the end was from 2014, when you were in my life as a regular, and I told you I went to Columbus and ate a bag of shit. I realized that saying is absolutely true. If you want to become metal, whatever, you got to sharpen metal with metal. I still remember going there and eating a bag of dicks after D'Elia. I still had to remember going through, following D'Elia 6 or 7 sets and going, wow, it's a different fucking game. You got to follow somebody and then bring somebody up in front of you. And it took me 3 or 4 months to get the hang. Once I got the hang, now we're full time, and I learned a lot. It's tough to follow Louis C.K. It's tough to follow Bill Burr. It's tough to follow these guys, but it's not going up there and topping them. It's being you. I'd rather you go up there and be you than trying to top me. You knew when you came in the room, he's a better writer than you. He's a better performer, but you know these things. If you're going to let your ego get involved, I'm better than him. My dog, I did a movie with De Niro. Yeah, whatever, you fucking dummy, But if you go up there, and these are the things I learned from 2014 on, Lee, when I was already 15 years in this shit. This is why I say to you, relax, sit tight, smell the roses. You're going to get some lumps, but at the end, it's all fucking worth it. If you pick the right and you play your cards, I seen it. I see Tim Dillon. I saw Shane get fucking blackmailed blackballed on Saturday Night Live. And all of a sudden, 4 years later, he's back hosting it. Why? Because cream rises to the top. All you got to keep doing is your fucking job. Bah, 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 bah. And you'll see. But if you're just going out to try stupid jokes and to impress your little friends in the back, I say, this is fucking it's too hard. So we were talking about the involvement. I'm so proud of you because you involved yourself in 15 days of comedy camp. That's half a fucking 30 days. Some people go to jail for hitting a clown in a car while they're on a bike or whatever the fuck. You just did 15 days. That's big. I talk shit about you every day over that. When people go, how's Lee doing? I go, Lee's at the fucking whatever in Vegas right now. Come on, what's he doing? He's fucking featuring over there. They go, come on. Lee, even Joe said, Joe asked me, how's Lee doing? I go, he's featuring at the whatever. And he goes, thank God you broke up the podcast.
Wow. Yeah. That's cool.
You would have died and you were not in better shape. He goes, think about it. Thank God you broke up the podcast because he learned a ton of shit. That's why he's at the Stratosphere this weekend. So that was probably the best part of the trip when he mentioned that to me. I got my, that fucking shot in my knee.
Oh, yeah, like stem cells?
Stem cell. I got this. This is the second one.
Is it helping?
A shout out to Ways to Well. Is it working? The first shot did miracles. Nice. And it still wasn't hurting. I just went down to back it up. If you're walking on ice, I'm doing some walking now. You got to walk to the fucking stage. Sometimes you forget, Lee, and I put all my weight on that knee and push myself up.
Oh.
While I land, you get this fucking kick in the balls. And sometimes I get on this fucking bum crooked knee, the surgery knee, and I get up there and fucking again, it buckles out of you. So I got to be careful. That's why I don't want to do anywhere big. I can't be walking around the fucking dark back there. The worst thing for me is to fall out of a fucking side curtain. And then, you know me, dog. I just get up and do comedy while I'm talking to Jew attorneys on the hotline.
Oh, I always think I'm going to fall.
God, there was one club we used to do that you had to walk through a tunnel like I was going in where they sent Tony Montana when he came from Cuba to that fucking Tentville.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want to walk through there now. The last thing I want to do is fall in front of fucking, then I'm on TMZ, Chubby Joey fell and shit, I'm not built to be on TMZ. That's why I always avoided those motherfuckers. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. There was two situations with me where I think I laughed the hardest. It was me and Ralphie. God rest his soul. This had to be 90 fucking, no, I'm lying to you guys. Had to be about 2007. I was clean. He was picking me up on Mondays when he got back. And we go to Jerry's Deli in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
And one night we got weed. We stopped at the Improv, and you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go to Jerry's. We get to Jerry's. He goes, man, it's fucking quiet. We pull up to the valet. As he gets out, two TMZ guys put cameras on him and go, Gabriel, how you doing? And you could hear the I just turned around and ran into the fucking restaurant. And then when he came in, after we got fucking food, I go, Gabriel, how you doing? And fucker, now I'm going to hear the end of that shit.
Oh, I can't believe, to be honest, that's probably the nicest thing I could imagine you doing is running into, I can't believe you didn't laugh in front of TMZ's face.
No. I'm like an old fucking gangster. I put the fucking thing, unless you're paying me, I put the fucking thing up. I don't want to be around.
Jesus. They called him Gabriel. Were they trying to fuck with him?
No, they were like, the guy just didn't know. Or, looking back now, yeah, he was probably fucking with him. But Ralphie was a asshole of a guy.
Oh, yeah, but that must suck.
You could do that too.
That's so funny. And what was the second laugh?
One night, I was there, but I was not there.
Okay.
And this is a long time ago, Lee. This is, there used to be a place on Beverly, right? After you came down La Brea, you hooked a right, and you went. You know who would know Josh Wolf? He was the king of that place. You went down, it was on a corner, and they had little umbrellas. It was like a 50s joint, and people sat out there. It just closed. I think it closed. But Josh, they used to they made shakes that would knock your dick into the dirt. Protein, regular shakes, reefer shakes. Not like they put reefer in it. This is way before any of that nonsense.
Right.
The spot, the spin, the something. We'll ask Josh Wolf. And the cool thing in those days was I was broke as hell, but the good thing to do was after the store, you'd go down there at 2:00. And there'd be different people eating, you know. And I'd gone with Josh and his family, and I'd gone, I think, with Joe Rogan and a bunch of other people one night after the club on Sunset we used to do. The guy took us there to eat, a bunch of us. Had like umbrellas and shit. I don't fucking know. It was good, though. And then one night, I went to a Janet Jackson concert. Now, it was 1998. I got no money to go to a Janet Jackson concert. I got to do at the store. But my spot was at 11:00, 11:30 at the store, and the Janet Jackson concert started at 7:30. I was friends with Dougie Fresh. I'm over at Doug Stanhope's house in the afternoon talking shit with him, and these girls moved in next door. And they were the fucking best. They were like, they hung out at Coaching Horses. They'd smoke dope. They were a lot younger than I. If I was 38 at the time, they were like 27, 28, whatever. And one night, one of the girls, they were roommates. They had gotten Janet Jackson tickets. And the one girl couldn't go. She had to work as a waitress or some shit. So the girl came over and asked Stanhope. Stanhope was like, what, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, bro, I'll go see Janet Jackson. And that's the night I told you we were broke, and she had great tickets, and Jimmy Smits was getting beers for our corner. You know, I was dead broke, Lee. If I had $5, I was holding on to it like a blind guy holds on to a cane. This motherfucker ain't going nowhere, right? And I guess I went to the store, did my set. You know, I couldn't borrow $20. And we ended up going to that place. And we sat down about 2:30. We were out in the back smoking dope. This is way before my wife. Me and this girl had nothing. She was just, she was Stanhope's neighbor.
Right.
You know, she smoked dope. I smoked dope. There was no blow that night. There was no money for blow. And we went to that milkshake place to get like a milkshake because we were stoned. And I want to tell you his name, but I don't.
Okay.
And celeb came in there, somebody who was hot at that time on TV, like on Buffy the Vampire. You know, at the time, I was doing stand-up, guys.
So you knew he was famous, but you didn't know from what?
Yes, I didn't. The girl and everybody was like, oh, look who it is. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I'd love to tell you I'm friends with him and go take a fucking, you know, and go give him a hug. Oh, my God. I haven't seen you since the gym, you know. And next thing you know, TMZ comes running out from like behind a car. And the one guy said something, again, Lee, had a couple numbers in me. At that time, I didn't drink, but it was 2:30 in the morning. I'm tired. I was just focusing on the milkshake. She was going to give me a ride to where I was staying with the girl I was dating at the time. And that was going to be the end of the night. And this guy comes over. And I mean, as he walks, all the girls like, oh, you know, look who it is. And he's from this, you know, he's from this. And all of a sudden, TMZ came out.
Right.
I shouldn't say TMZ. It was 1998. It could have been anybody.
Paparazzi.
They started lurking. And this guy came out, and another guy came out. And the first guy was doing pretty good. They were talking about his TV show, his workout regimen. And then the fucking other guy said to him, are you still doing blow? And this guy turned around, one shot, bro. Boom. Camera hit the floor. I thought, you know, You forget all the stupidity I saw in the beginning. And he went down and we paid for the milkshakes and left. She told everybody about what had happened. I had 2 sets at the Comedy Store that night. I forgot what the fuck it was. And it's because of that, and then I had a beef with them up in, no, they weren't TMZ either. Remember that fucking place in Studio City on Sunday? Where all the fucking
Marine
people
C?
had tamales and shit next to the 5.
Oh, the farmer's market?
Yes. They used to lurk in there. They used to hide by the 5 guys. Not the 5 guys. Where you 5 brothers, where you buy skis and shit. There was a little fucking, they had tamales in there. And it was always a great place, but they weren't messing with me. They were messing with somebody else. And as I was walking to the car, he said something to me. And I had my wife in mercy. I just kept walking. He said something about big pussy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to answer to that. And that was it. But beside that, when I saw that guy get knocked out, I'm like, and then I didn't see it again for 6, 8 years later when the guy's like, Fluffy. And I'm like, oh no. You could hear the fracture. You know, he had the gold chains on that night, the rings like Elvis. He busted out. The guy going to go, Ralphie May. The guy goes, Fluffy, and fucking Ralphie. And you can't stop laughing at that. You know, you just can't.
Especially you. That's why I was shocked that you ran inside. I love, like, you, like, that's like someone giving you a gift.
Not really.
No, you don't think so?
No. Listen, at that time, I had done the longest yard. In my mind, for me, nothing happened, so fuck it, right? I don't want this guy to see me. I already had enough problems. Now, when I was with Ralphie, I was always clean. I was only high around Ralphie. Ralphie came to me one day. I appreciate if you don't do that shit around me. And that was it. That was like 1997. He caught me in the bathroom one night.
Wow. No, and like, I know you don't want to embarrass Ralphie, but just between like you and him, if there hadn't been a camera there, like that's something you would have laughed about for probably 3 hours.
Dog, I laughed about it for 10 years. I still think of, I still think of shit, but again, that wouldn't have been introduced to me if it wasn't part of that journey. Because at one time, I remember like, he was flat broke. And you asked Josh Wolf. I was living with Josh.
Okay.
All right. And that's the day that I was in the pool with the kids and the neighbors and we're having the Josh Wolf brothers. And Josh yells down, where's the fucking whatever? And Joey, where's the whatever? I forget what he was looking for. And I yell up, look in the drawer. And I spelt it wrong.
Okay.
DREW. Something stupid. It was like 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Nobody had money. We had just chipped in for like toast, whatever. And we're all out there, like 11 of us by the pool. Like
that's broke if you're chipping in for toast.
I was eating Josh Wolf food. Not embarrassed to say this shit. This was what it was, man. And when I scored, I gave Josh a 40. Right. We always were working together. This is part of that deal that people never understand. And we had to get ready because Ralphie had a barbecue. Now in 98, Ralphie wasn't rolling in fucking dough. But I never forget that people brought meat over. And at one point, Ralphie looked at Josh and he goes, hold on one second. I'll never forget this. And he turned around, he goes, bring this home for your kids. And it was candy, not fucking shitty candy from the dollar store. It was candy, Ralphie candy. And that night, Josh goes, Ralphie's the type of guy, he had no money, but he still remembered to get my kids candies. That's something special. And I remember sleeping on Josh's, I got to talk to Josh Wolf because we got to write a sitcom on that building. I was thinking about it on the fucking plane. I was even making notes on the computer. I'm like, wow. We were so stupid. That building had everything.
Is that the building where you lit the homeless guy on fire by accident? His blanket?
No, this is
That's a different blanket?
This is around the corner, Vista.
Okay.
It was on Vista. On the corner was Charlie Chan Printing. And across the street was the Guitar Center. Oh my God.
On Sunset.
And then where I used to buy weed in those days was on Cumston.
Right.
Okay. So one day I went to Cumston and I had, I don't know, 37. I had $57. And I had it all planned out, right? This is like, guys, when $57 was $57, all right? I stop at Cumston, I get a 20. That leaves me with $37. Or maybe I had started the day with 37. That's what it was. I started the day with 37. I went to the weed dealer. He wasn't home. So I said, fuck it. If he's not home, I might as well go eat some Chinese. The place across the street from Rock and Roll Ralph's, they used to have a laundromat and a Chinese place. The Chinese place is probably still there. When we got there, the Chinese place was banging. They had the complete lunch special, you know, the soda, soup, egg roll, entree, white rice, the thing, the ice cream, the fucking massage, $5.99. And we were there every fucking day for lunch.
Yeah.
Ricky, happy birthday to Ricky Cruz. Ricky, fucking Ralphie, you know, it was just a tray of us would go there for lunch. Whoever was in town, John, fucking this guy, that guy, 8 of us would torture this poor Chinese lady. Then we got one. Then we started making money. We went to the all-you-can-eat sushi place with Helen. But before that, we used to go to the Chinese place.
With Helen.
Helen was the Japanese lady.
Right. No, see, we used to go to the Chinese
lady
place.
was Chinese pokey. She looked like our friend Stacy Pokey, but she was only Chinese. Really cute, glasses, the whole thing. She would torture us and shit.
That's what you need in a sitcom. That's a sitcom.
So what, brother?
So that's what you need in the sitcom. Just that like all you guys going to the Chinese place. That's crazy.
There was a time in '98 where I would wake up in a radius.
Of what? Of the building?
Okay, I could have either been across the street from on Sunset. This is where you found me. I've never come clean with this, but this is where Uncle Joey learned the shit in those days. If I was legit to quit, I'd end up at Ralphie's on the floor with our friend Jody and John. If Ralphie, for some fucking reason, wasn't around, I'd end up in one of the apartments in that building. At that time, there was maybe 2 other people who had apartments in that building. If you didn't end up there, you ended up at Josh Wolf's. But at that time, let's forget about Gardner yet. Gardner had not been into place. It was Sierra Bonita, all those streets, right? From like where Rock and Roll Ralph was. I could end up on Vista in like 3 apartments. The chick with no chin, Josh Wolf, or his brother.
The chick with no chin. Go on, I'm sorry.
All right, so, and in that building there was Reefer, a white Jewish guy with a big Jewish star, sold weed, and he was hooked up with a black girl.
Of course.
He spoke with a Jamaican accent. Yeah.
A white Jewish Jamaican.
And he hid his weed in the garage. So you know we were tapping that ass, right?
Oh.
We were going night, clipping an ounce, a half ounce, and he would blame it on his girlfriend, right? You stole my weed, man. Yeah. She would go, no, I didn't, you Jew bastard. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Rastafarian Jew. So that was one building. Then you had the chick with no chin. You had the fucking 2 call girls. You had the 2 heroin girls that were fucking great girls. But they smelled like shit because they wouldn't take showers. They wouldn't wash their paws. Oh, it was a fucking TV show. There was another girl who was very sweet. She spoke a weird language. We all used to talk to her, really cute. And one day, one of the guy pulls me over and he goes, hey, when you go home tonight, watch this movie. He wrote it down. He goes, it's on Cinemax. And like 2 weeks later, I'm in some hotel and boom, it's this neighbor, like completely naked on all fours with fucking Eric Roberts. Tremendous. It was a crazy ass fucking building. But if I didn't end up there, I would end up at the hotel. But it didn't matter. I always tried to stay past the gas station. So on the way up to Josh's, I could stop in the gas station, steal a pack of cigarettes. Oh my God, it was like automatic. And I timed it. Every time the little guy went outside to pump gas, I would zoom in there. And he'd go, hey, what's happening? Nothing. Let me go inside and get something to drink. I'd have like $1. I'd put my hand up. I'd have like Cools, a pack of Parliaments, then voila, Marlboro Lights or Camel Lights. Oh.
You were torturing that. How long were you living like this?
And then I would go up the corner. If I was really hungry and I had no money, I would go to Josh Wolf's. If I had money, I would go to the Sunset Grill. That's way before you came. That was when it was the original Sunset Grill with the guy with the platform foot, and he had like a little stump up, and he would make the burgers, and it was fucking tremendous. And then something happened there. The guy died, and then they redid it, and then there were egg and cheese sandwiches.
Nice.
And I would go in there, and all the East Coast dudes would be in there. The guy from Buffy, the good-looking guy that's still on fucking TV. He's from Philly. So we had that. We had El Compadre. We had Charlie Chan. I had a tab with him.
And what year did you have a tab?
1997. Trust me. It was tough talking to a Chinese guy to give you a tab. It was 10 cents a copy, 25 cents for a copy of Headshot. You know, then he would lend me the staples. I would sit there and staple them and shit and fucking torture him.
How much were you printing that you needed a tab?
And the guy's name was like Mike, but I did not care. I call him Charlie Chan. That's the name on the fucking door. It's Charlie Chan. Charlie Chan, just like the fuck.
Was he Asian?
No, he was Puerto Rican. Yeah, he was Chinese. The guy was Chinese. He was very businesslike, uptight. And I would go in there and go, where's Charlie Chan? And he would come over. My name is Mike. Okay, listen, Mike. Let's not get off. Like a week later, every Monday I was in there because I had to make copies for the agents. I was working a scam with the agents because every week somebody would get a headshot. One Monday would be my theatrical agent, and one Monday would be my commercial agent. And I would do that every week. I would do those copies he opened at 9. I was in there at 9:01, already tortured. Where's Charlie Chan?
For the 100th, like how long are you doing this to these people? Charlie, my name is Mike.
What's that?
I just love that my name is Mike. For the 600th time, my name is Mike.
And I would, yes, no that. I'd be in there a week later. Charlie Chan, what's cracking today? My name not Charlie Chan, it's Mike. Okay.
Okay.
It was see, this is the shit I forgot. Like, I got to write a book about this shit. And then I started waking up at the hotel. The guy that owned the comedy club in Florida sold it. And he showed up in Hollywood with like $400,000 cash. And every night he'd go to the store with an ounce of Coke. And fucking every night they ended up at that hotel right across from the Sunset Inn, whatever, ratty little hotel. Then I got the commercial and I had a little Diaz now. I moved up into the world. So there was a hotel. This is very interesting. There was a hotel on Schrader.
Okay.
It later became the hostel.
Oh, okay.
But that hotel was a hotel where you're only allowed to stay in there for 3 weeks. And then they would transfer you to where the pizza place was up there, next to the other laundromat. And then once you did 3 weeks up there, you couldn't be there as a certain residence. So when me and the girl broke up, I would go in there and stay for a week and then go on the road. and then come back and then stay there for 3 days and go on the road. Brother, you don't know what life is till you wake up in that part of town at that time. That was the old Hollywood. And I would come out of there was fucking people yelling in that hotel room. There'd be people hanging out in the hallway. It was real, Jack.
Did you have a car or no, you didn't have a car at this point?
It depended what day it was.
How can it possibly depend?
Because you always bump into a car who's not leaving town for 2 weeks because they're going to Miami to do comedy. And here I am doing 90 around town getting tickets. They come back.
You did not get tickets under other people's cars, did you?
Come on, man. In those days, when you get to LA, the first thing about LA or any city you move into, how they welcome you is with parking tickets.
That's true.
They confuse. You get out there every morning with your robe. What is the meaning of this? And they're like, it's from 9 to 11. And you're like, okay, I won't have it out here. Then the next day you come out there at 8:45 and they got your car already hooked up. Then a week later, again, you get another ticket. Now you got to go down there and take the car. And it's just, when I got to LA, I was, my motto was you buy them, I smash them. That was like my brother, my fucking RIP brother's fucking motto. So it was, Doug Stanhope had a car, but it was great. You could use it, air conditioning. There was only one problem. The gauge didn't work. So you didn't know whether the car was full or empty. Sometimes you got in that motherfucker and you just had to pray till you got to the gas station. And again, I wasn't Johnny Deep Pockets. I would start there with a food stamp, whatever I could hustle up the night before. Times were tough.
And how long did it take until you had like a legit apartment? Was it with your wife that you got your first apartment?
6 months before that. Can you believe that?
How long was that?
If I would have just held off 6 more months.
You would have saved $3,000.
I met my wife in July of 2000. I agreed to pay rent at my friend's house. When I got there, he didn't have a room for me. He had a couch.
Oh.
And if I felt a little double-crossed, whatever. Listen, I lived there. Some months he took rent. Some months he didn't. It was a crazy time for everybody. You got to remember, that year opened up with me not being in LA. I didn't spend New Year's in LA that year. I was in El Paso. No. Yes. No. Yes, I was in El Paso until Y2K. That next July is when I met my wife.
And how long have you been living like between these apartments and hotels?
At this time?
Yeah. Like when did that start? 97?
2 years. When I first got there, I moved with a girl. We had an apartment.
Right.
We were there for a year and then we broke up. And then she moved to the other part of town. I stayed with Josh Wolf and I went on the road. I slept. I could tell you I slept at the Comedy Store. I don't know. But I was there at 9:01 to take a shower.
And I don't know if you're going to even be able to answer this, but those 3 years of comedy, were they like the most important? Like I just imagine you accomplished a lot in those 3 years.
Those 3 years of comedy made me figure out LA. They were very important because I went to LA, a feature act that had taken 6th in the Seattle comedy competition. That didn't mean shit, but it meant 6 meant the world to me, which I sold it as the world. So when I started making calls down there and putting tapes together at the time, whatever, and headshots, that's what I was selling. I'm here based on that. I had a couple comic friends, so they helped me out in this, Doug, there was a ton of them that worded up for me at the Improv, at the Laugh Factory. I had gone to LA once to do a showcase for the Latino Laugh Factory, and I met Marilyn Martinez and Gabriel, the other one, Gilbert Esquivel, who was always one of my fucking angels in my corner, him and Rudy and those guys. So it was finding myself. Ralphie May, living in an apartment, sleeping on his floor. But guess what? We got there at 2:15 and we drank Bloody Marys and joked around and we lit Ralphie's hair on fire and shit. But regardless of who was there was always a notebook out.
Really?
There was always 3 notebooks out. Okay? And let me tell you something else that people seem to forget. In those walls, where was he, Jay Moore, and Jay Moore's partner, good kid, his name slips my mind, created Last Comic Standing, and the Jay Moore sports show before that, in that Ralphie May apartment. So I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you. I'll get Jay Moore on one of these podcasts, and he'll tell you, in that Ralphie kitchen is where they created More Sports. And from there, in that kitchen, smoking dope, whatever they were doing, drinking the fucking water I would put in the vodka bottle, they would fucking, that's where they
Last Comic Standing.
You check your fucking historians on that, my friend.
That's a crazy, like, sacrifice for 3 years.
For who?
I mean, look, maybe not, but to me, to like not have an apartment, to not have, like, you know, that's rough.
Forced your hand. Guess what? If I know I'm going to do an 8-ball Tuesday and I'm running out of money on Thursday, guess what I'm doing all day today?
What?
I'm booking a Thursday somewhere. I don't care if I got to roller skate to the gate. I'm making calls. And guess what? Thursday becomes a Friday. And then the guy from fucking Sacramento calls you and says, bro, I got a Saturday in the theater. It only pays $500. $500, that's another week at fucking the hotel. And there you go. You just survived another week in 3 days. There was always planning the weekend. And, you know, do I want to do this? Well, guess what? I'm going to be out of town anyway. I could pack up my little suitcase, leave it at Lee's house, give him a fucking eighth of weed, and go do my gig. I come back Tuesday, the luggage is going to be there. And I got money to go back into the hotel. So there was always an angle. That's what you figured out. How bad did you want to do comedy? And how good did you want to get at comedy? That was part of the fucking angle.
Yeah. And it's awesome. And it's like, it's cool. That's crazy to think now that you're fucking, do you feel like you're back at that level? Like, obviously I know you're better, but like, cause you're kind of starting over like a little bit from scratch.
I'm at no level right now. I'm not having any expectations. I'm doing 15 minutes, and that's holding my breath and fucking slowing down my material. You know, I'm old man jiu-jitsu. I'm piling myself on top of you so I can breathe a little bit better. But that's you know, I still remember like the first of the month being like on Wednesday.
Okay.
And you coming to me on like Sunday saying to me, hey man, next Friday I need one of those 8 balls for $250. Now I already had the weekend booked on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was driving to fucking some hell gig in I'll never forget where I was going. Like Arizona. I had a casino. You did comedy under a tent. I didn't want to ever remember it. You know what I'm saying? I think somebody gave me a Rohypnol when I was there, because all I remember was going there and coming back. But in all seriousness, on fucking Wednesday, I would call you up and go, look, that 8-ball you want, they want fucking 2.25 today. Drop the money off. You drop the money off, I'll tell you I'm going to call you that night. I pay the rent and I leave town. And I fucking go to the club, get an advance, bring the money back. I call him Sunday and go, did you get my text? Did you get my message? No, I didn't. What are you talking about? Dog, the 8-ball's been sitting here. I left it for you in the apartment. Come over and get it. And he would go, oh my God, I thought you beat me. No, I had to go up to fucking. So you play the stall game the same way you do with creditors and fucking your bills at the beginning of the month.
Right.
That was it, guys. That was it for a guy like me. I sold cigars on the phone. I sold appointments on the phone. I fucking was a telemarketer at the Comedy Store with 3 other people that I remember their names and the guy who ran the room. That's how serious I took that time in my life. And I did all these things to be involved.
What do you mean by involved?
You're just not mind fucking yourself no more. You're doing it. Even if it's at the tiniest level. This is what you want. This is the game I provide for you. If you want to do stand-up comedy, Lee, I can't fucking, if you call me up and go, Joey, you're going to Austin, and the rumor is, there's no rumor. I'm going to Austin once a month till it turns 100 degrees. There's no room for fat people in Austin after fucking June. I'll let you know my next date depending on the fucking weather, monsoon season. If the pipes break, I'm month to month. Once the summer hits, I'm not going in 100-degree weather. I've already been through that sacrifice. I don't waste it on anybody. But if you called me, and said to me, and I go like, I can't, I'm not doing that anymore, Lee. And you're like, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I have an idea for you. You told me the Funny Bone won't hire. You told me fucking Poughkeepsie Comedy Club won't hire. You told me the Chain won't hire. This guy won't hire. The only person who hires you is this room in Connecticut that almost went out of business. So I tell you what, I don't know nothing about it, but I know a lot of good comics that are on a shit. That's how you test people. And they'll go, Joey, that's not a bad idea. Lee, it's 8 sets a week. If you do it for 3 months at $3,000 a week, not only are you going to get better, but you got a little money, and then you come back and get an apartment.
So you wouldn't look down on that?
Excuse me?
You wouldn't look down on that? Like if they did cruise ships for a few months?
Who the fuck am I to look down on how you do your path?
Okay.
I just don't take no pictures of it. Make sure no big-time bookers see that you're playing a ukulele.
Don't put it on my resume that I played the ships. Okay.
Nobody could judge you. I'm just teasing you.
Oh, I don't care.
Nobody could really judge you at this game, as long as you're doing it. The people that judge you aren't doing it.
Right.
They're sitting at home waiting for a handout. So fuck them. I'm sorry to go over on you guys tonight. It was just good to see Lee. I'm very proud of you, dog.
Thank you. It means a lot, buddy.
Trenches, no fucking, nobody roofied you. Nobody took you into a room and did bad things to you.
No, everyone was awesome to me. It was a great. It was
small 20 that you could sit on their lap and tell them the story of when the Jews fought the Romans and they held them off for 10 years.
That's a good story.
It's a long story. You can work a small 25 into 2,000 on a college education for later.
I don't want to sit on someone's lap for that long.
Listen, nobody does, but every once in a while,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do this. Sometimes you gotta sit on his lap and rub the back of his head. You're looking mighty handsome tonight. Is that little cream gray you're putting in your head, dude? You fucking buzz it.
Thank God I never. Oh, can you imagine?
He'll ask you a couple of times, you want to go up to the room? We can play bingo. No, listen. No, the type of guy that plays bingo. I'll sit on your lap with a small 10 G's for 15 minutes. Then I got to go do what I got to do. You want me to call somebody else in? I got to cover. And he'll do whatever you want, but you got to give me another 10 G commission because I know where the bodies are hidden. You know what I'm saying? If he disappears, I don't know nothing. For the extra 15, if he disappears, listen, I don't know nothing. His parents live in fucking England. Nobody knows nothing.
I bet a lot of people go for that extra 15.
Oh, please. If you had $200 million, you went to Vegas and you were fucking, savage of savages, what wouldn't you do? You read these stories.
It's Vegas, and it was awesome, and I love it, but Vegas is a very strange place.
Vegas is, listen, I don't care what happens anywhere else. If you come to me and tell me something happened to you in Kentucky, you got that luck. I could see a chick just taking you home and whipping you and sitting on you and making you yell in Yiddish. You know what I'm saying?
I could see that happening too.
Yes. No, you can't. But anyway, when you go to Vegas, bro, all bets are off. Listen, I used to fucking get lit. I got no shame to say this. The time I went with Rogan, the first time to the Riviera as a feature for the Late Show, I did not get lit and I did not snort coke. It was 20 something years ago, guys. I'm telling you right now. And then the second time I went to that casino where the kid stabbed me with the sword. And I had it by Thursday. Every time I got on the fucking elevator, some different person would stab me on the sword or it'd be a bunch of fucking, just not my style. But, it was one of those places that I heard things about when I was younger from real people. And I always minded my P's and Q's. I never let people in my room, none of that stuff.
No.
But I used to have a drug dealer who delivered to your door. Nobody knew nothing. He knocked on your door. No matter what hotel you were laying at, he would call you and say, call the front, tell him fucking I'm coming up. All right, boom, boom, boom. And he would leave it. He'd leave you the extra sleep package for the extra $35. That I did. And even that, when I got into a deep situation, I would go in the bathroom and make believe I was in the shower and fucking hide all the lights so the cameras wouldn't get me while I did a couple bumps and tried to bang one out, you know what I'm saying, before the DEA broke into my room.
Oh, no. You hear shit in a Vegas hotel. They're loud.
Growing up, I heard two things. I was like, you know what? And I would tell people, when you go to Vegas, remember.
Yeah.
They're watching you. And forget about, Joey, the technology. Listen, they're watching. They're protecting a fucking $100 million, $200 million property. You're just going to get some 8 Joe Schmoes to walk in here. They're watching. They spend half of that fucking dough on security. They're always watching in Las Vegas.
Everywhere.
Except when Tupac got shot. There wasn't a motherfucker around. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you next week, brother. Where are you this week?
This week I'm home. April 13th is the next one at the Gramercy Theater with Josh Wolf.
That's next week. You going to come in early to see Uncle Joey?
I'm coming in on Thursday. Should I come? I can come in earlier.
Come in earlier so you can spend the night, do some edibles. We'll see where your tolerance is at. We'll eat some
not
mushrooms.
where it's supposed to be. I mean, it depends on...
I'll drop you off at Tom's River at the shaman's house for 2 hours. Let them take the spirits away from you before you go to New York and attract new ones. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
I love you, buddy. Shout out. Have a great week. I got nothing this week. I got a couple things, but I don't know where I'm going to end up this week. But I'll be out there banging it. I got some ideas, and I'm excited.
I love it. I'm so happy.
Me too. I'm happy. I'm happy. Good. I know. You're always happy.
This is where my tolerance is, goddammit.
What?
You told me to get high, and then I get high.
I told you to get high. You just don't have to say, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? You say that shit again, I have to drop you off somewhere in a particular neighborhood so they can chase you around.
How long are they going to chase me for? What are you talking about? Oh. Please don't drop me off.
There's reasons why they could chase you. Because while you're in the car getting high with me, I put a sign in your back. Sweet ass for rent. All bidders accepted.
$10,000 for 15 minutes.
Oh, Lee, forget it. If I was your man in Vegas, you wouldn't even do nothing. You just go in a room and maybe say, you know what, I'm in the mood for love. And next thing you know, I shoot some tear gas in there and the money would be on the counter. Where's the money on the counter? Hit it. I'm in the mood for love.
But doesn't that mean I'm getting tear gassed every time?
No, we're going to spy. Listen, I know motherfuckers that know motherfuckers, and you know motherfuckers that know motherfuckers. So, remember, you're going to make me say it in public? I'm not going to. Listen,
I apologize.
I'm not going to call all these basic Jewish people. I'm going to call my Jew in Israel. And then that Jew calls your Jew, and then we get the wheels going.
I'm following you.
You got to make me drop names here.
Never. I'm sorry.
What's the matter with you? Next thing you know, I got to knock on my door, and it's the Jew from over there calling over here, and there's 3 guys already at my door before I wrap up the podcast, and they knock differently.
I apologize for bringing it up.
Yeah, so don't make me get started. So the world is your oyster, cocksucker. Have a great week. Love you.
Love you, buddy.
The check-in is brought to you by Blue Chew. Listen, If you can't get it up like you used to, no worries. Don't get an anxiety attack. You know why? Blue Chew is here, and they got you covered with ED medicine right to your door. No need to drag yourself to the family doctor. Meet digitally with one of their physicians, and your prescription will be at your door in days. Listen, let me tell you something. Blue Chew is a machine of life, and they're spreading love, and it comes right to your door. Nobody knows nothing, and it's tremendous. It works. It's got the same ingredients as what's in Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but way cheaper. You don't have to break the bank to be an animal in bed. Listen, Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it, Jack. Uncle Joey coming at you. Blue Chew's got a special deal for check-in listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you press in promo code Joey at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code Joey to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and safety important informations. And thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring the check-in. Listen, Blue Chew works, so get it together. Press in code Joey, and they're going to send you a little package for free. Who's better than Blue Chew? You. Hey, listen, I want to welcome this product to the show because I'll tell you what, it works, and they sent it to the right person. What I want to talk to you about is Mando. Let's talk here for a second. When you take a shower, you want to smell good for as long as possible, right? But sometimes it don't work that way. If you're me, your feet start kicking, my right fungi toenail starts to boot, you know, your muffler, you're sweating, you're a little chubby, sweat comes out of different places. But that all changed with Mando whole body deodorant. Make the most out of every shower. Listen, in a clinical study, men who showered with soap and used Mando had an odor score of 0 out of 10 after 12 hours. Listen, I usually smell like a bear after 10 minutes. Clinically proven to control your nasty odor for 72 hours. And when I say nasty, I'm thinking about myself. I don't know what you're doing in your house behind closed doors. Mando works on your pits, your privates, that foot, your diabetic foot, listen, whatever thing you got odor on. I know people who their shoulder smells. For example, Lee used to have the hummus neck. You know, it happens. Me, I love this thing. My wife turned me on to it, and then they called, and now we're working tip-top magoo. Before I go to jiu-jitsu, it keeps you dry. Listen, it's baking soda-free, paraben-free, and pH balance for safe use below the belt. Smell better with Mando. Here we go. Mando has a starter pack that's perfect for new customers. You ready for this? It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Listen, I know you're sick of smelling yourself and going, woof, what parrot landed on me? As a special offer for check-in listeners, new customers, get $5 off a Mando starter pack with code Joey, Joey, at shopmando.com. That's over 40% off your starter pack when you visit shopmando.com and press in code Joey. Listen, Labor Day will be here in no time. You got to be out there in the heat, hanging out with family members, and there's always going to be somebody kicking. Even if it's not for you because you're embarrassed, give it to that uncle you got. Put it in his little shaving. Maybe he'll brush his teeth with it. Whatever. Who knows? Get some Mando in your life. Get the starter pack. New customers, get $5 off the starter pack with code Joey. Shopmando.com. I want to welcome them to the show. And you guys, go to shopmando.com and welcome them also. And then press in code Joey so we all win. All right?